Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Practicing My Way Back. This week I want to talk about slowing down. I know you hear me say this a lot, and there's a reason I do, because it's the key to getting your practice tight. And I got a cool story about that, cool being a relative word. While I picked up a new piece in my well-tempered clavier this week, noticed that a lot of the particular formations in this prelude are really much more difficult than I expected them to be. And part of that was, my eyes are getting a little bit bigger than my stomach, because as my abilities start to come back, I'm kind of snapping into my old way of thinking, where like, okay, I can pick this up. I know how to do this, I know how to do that. Which is true, I still do. Problem is the brain is still processing at a little bit of a slower rate for a lot of this stuff. It's a lot like when you get a new music book, right? And you go to turn a page, and the page flips back. And you go to turn a page again, and the page flips back. You find yourself having to do things like this to reinforce the page turn, or even pick the book up and bend the binding over to get it to stay. That's kind of what's going on in my brain. I'm reinforcing those pathways. Another way to think about it is walking through the woods. You're walking through the woods, you're not really sure where the path is because it hasn't been that well worn, and it takes any number of times of walking across that path to wear it in. You've heard me say this before. I said this in the initial set of this video, in the initial series. I think it's more relevant now because it's important to remember that just because you're working on reinforcing those pathways, you're still going to get off them from time to time. Weird stuff is going to happen, and that's what I've been dealing with all week, where I went, that's what I'm supposed to be playing. Every so often, something like that will happen. Seriously, and that's not really even an extreme example. Every so often, my hand will just not function. It's like hitting a patch of ice with a car. Yeah, we get corrected and go, whoa. What happens when you hit a patch of ice on the car? You slow down, right? What I do is if I'm and I get okay, now I got to slow down. Slowly and really deliberate, because you've got to reinforce the pathway. You reinforce the correct way of doing things and not the mistake. And that's a key thing. Sometimes our egos can get away from us, and we can say, oh, well, I should be able to do this. There's that horrible should word again. I should be able to play it like this, or I should be able to play with both hands, or no. If you're not, you're not, okay? And there's nothing wrong. In fact, it's a whole lot of right to say, well, okay, I'm going to take both hands off the keyboard and just worry about this one hand and reinforce this hand really slowly, because that's what needs to happen. That's what my brain needs. And this is, don't kid yourselves, this is a brain thing. This is not a muscle thing. I know some of you out there have an awful lot of dexterity. It's not a muscle thing. It's the brain making the connection. It's the brain understanding the brain understanding the proprioception. Big word, right? Understanding the proprioception, the relationship of your body in space. Where's the hand? Where do the fingers go? How do they sit on the keys? So there's a lot going on. It's actually pretty amazing. If you were to sit down and calculate the math that was involved with just pulling a simple phrase like this, it would be ridiculous. It would be like probably millions of lines of code to program a robotic arm to do that. You just do it on your own, but you still have to take care that you're giving it the right information to begin with, which means slowing down, taking things separately, doing what you need to do. If you keep banging away at something the same old way and making the same mistakes and going, well, if I just do this enough times, it'll get better. It ain't going to get better. The mistake's going to get a whole lot better. You don't want that. So that's the message this week. Always leave the option open to slow down, because oftentimes that will engage your progress far more than trying to just blast through something and hoping it's going to work. It's like, if I turn this page like this and I don't do anything about it, of course it's going to stay. That's what you're doing. You know? That's no fun. It's annoying. I could do this all night. So, there it is. And that's just taking good care of yourself too. That's giving yourself a chance to succeed. That's the most important thing. Because you're capable of doing anything on this instrument. You just need to believe that, and you just need to give yourself a chance. So, that's what I have. Happy Thursday. And we'll see you next week. Have fun. Work hard.